Welcome back to Lost Legacies.
A Hidden City Book Company production.
I'm Sam.
I'm Matt.
Well, everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to the show. It's been a bit. It's been a hot minute. We made it, everyone. End of an era. Again, talking about Andor. Season 2, Episode 12. The series finale. Jedha, Kyber, Urso. Matt, what'd you think?
Well, I want to flip the script. I want to flip the script this time. I actually want to see what you think.
What? I wasn't prepared for this. Oh no! I match your energy. What's
Oh
happening?
crap! We're screwed.
I liked it. I dug it. Not what I was expecting.
Mhm.
Here's the thing. It was what I was expecting,
Hmm.
but it's not what I would have expected.
Right,
This
right.
was a very quiet, almost somber episode, you know?
Sure.
And I think we've just been conditioned with this show that like the third episode in these little blocks is always, bombastic in some way. Especially compared to season one's finale, where it's like we were building up to something going down on Ferrix,
Hmm.
and then it's this whole revolution, at a funeral. And this time we really aren't,
Yeah.
you know. In a way, it's all of that buildup and intensity that directly leads into Rogue One.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess my main fear going into this finale was that it was going to be bad somehow. I didn't really think that would happen, but that was a fear. You know,
Same,
this
same.
this is a prequel. That constrains you in different ways, you know. So I was thinking like, okay, hopefully that isn't a bad thing. But then on the other end of the scale, I was expecting something big like the season one finale.
Hmm.
And we got neither. We got straight down the middle.
Hmm.
It was an episode of Star Wars, you know? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So I'm very torn about it, man. I mean, because it was good, but was it? It's this whole weird thing of like, okay, so the way it's set up is like the actual series finale is Rogue One,
Yeah.
you know? But I just feel like, hmm, what I was expecting and hoping was some kind of resolution, some kind of climax to these story arcs, and we didn't get any of it.
Yeah.
So on one hand, I'm like, okay, maybe we can see Vale or Clea or Willem show up again at some point, but it just, I don't know. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth because it wasn't done in a way like, hey, they can show up at any point. You know, this is the story, this is the rebellion. People come and go, and it's just like, no, we're just kind of left with nothing. Like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah, I agree. Like, it was nice to see where everybody was at the end,
yeah.
but even then it's kind of like, well, most of the people are still on Yavin, you know? Like the biggest shocks was like, oh, we got to see Perrin, randomly, and he's apparently sleeping with Skolden's wife.
But he also has the rings.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
I'm
I'm like,
like, is he
oh,
scolded now? Like, did he just take over? Like,
yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. And then Dedra, she's in prison.
that was brilliant. Why?
Yeah.
Because it ties up her story. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that was a suiting end
Hmm.
to her. I'm like, oh
And it's like she's trying to keep, this composure, and the second the lights turn off, she just loses it. I'm like,
yeah,
man,
yeah,
yeah. Well, you get what you deserve, It's
yep,
crazy.
yep. Sucks to suck.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's like like everything else was just, you know, this again, I feel like an ending like this could have been different, if we had gotten even another season, you know. Uh
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
because I feel like then we would still know more of these people's stories.
Hmm.
We would know more of their character. Whereas in this season, it was very kind of like bullet pointed. These are the most significant events, that happened. And that's kind of that even rings true in like the scene where Cassian and Vel are toasting to everybody that they've lost.
Hmm.
It's like, yeah, you're naming all the characters that we know and we've seen, and apparently you guys knew nobody else and nothing else significant happened in between. It's like, yep, everybody on Aldani. You said, Aldani. Oh, and
Yeah.
then also Gorman. Like, yeah, it's like all of that. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, but nobody else, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm like,
Well,
okay,
and I mean, I'm okay with that because it's just like, what, we saw the greatest hits. We saw the big ones, the impactful ones.
sure,
There were
sure.
probably more, but they didn't mean as much to them. There were probably more missions that just went according to plan. It was no big
Yeah.
deal, So that I'm okay with. But it's just I feel like, okay, not only is Rogue One the actual series finale, I felt like this was a series finale of a show we never saw
Hmm.
because so much about it revolves around Luthen. And like everyone's talking about Luthen, and I'm like, okay, like he was barely in it. And again, it's telling us, not showing us,
Yeah.
We were always told about the rift between everyone. There's disagreements between Luthen and the actual Rebel Alliance now on Yavin. Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
So it's just it's so many things, and then like Mon Mothma, she's not even. I was expecting her to be the Mon like we know, but no, she's still like very timid and very quiet and in the background. I'm like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a point where she becomes the character? Like, I don't know if that's something in another show or not, but I'm like, I just don't know. Like,
Yeah.
is it after Bell Organa dies? Like, because I don't remember Rogue One too much, but I don't remember a big transformative story arc for Mon Mothma in Rogue One.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
would have been different if that was in the movie and it's like, okay, we can't get there yet. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just to be quite frank, I'm heartbroken by the ending just because I'm like, all right, well, just another chapter in the story. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially too, like there's something about this finale, yes, also, to say that it's part of a show that we never got to see, specifically because of Luthen,
Hmm.
but also just like in the tone, it definitely felt if it didn't feel like Andor.
Right. Yeah.
And especially like once we get to the end and then during the end credits, they start playing the Star Wars theme. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, this doesn't make any sense at all,
Yeah.
you
I
know?
didn't like that at all.
Yeah, I'm like that like it's weird. It's weird like this feels like a Star Wars show,
Yeah.
not Andor, a Star
Right.
Wars
Right.
story, or yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's just yeah,
And
it's
I don't want to say that like as Star Wars show is bad. It's just like no, Andor has always felt like its own thing. And I think what makes it strong is that
right.
it doesn't feel like anything we've gotten from Star Wars. Whereas
Right.
this, we kind of lost all of that. So they could have played the Rebel Alliance music or celebration music at the end or something. Like they didn't have to go into the Star Wars theme.
Hmm.
Because to
Hmm.
me, that's like the Skywalker. It's not the Skywalker theme, but that's like this. That's the saga of the Skywalkers.
Yeah,
That's what the
yeah.
Star Wars theme is. I don't even. Do they even play the music in Rogue One?
No, I think they play it at the very end, but that was kind of Michael Giacchino's whole thing because he scores that movie.
Yeah.
Somebody else was supposed to do it, but he came in at the last second. And that was his thing. Is like he didn't want to have any of the traditional themes
Yeah.
because all of that, you know, kind of gets earned and built through the tribulations of the movie that leads into A New Hope and then the Skywalker saga. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And I agree, you know, and I love that we didn't get any of the traditional music, you know, in Andor. It's all new, even with, you know, any of like the Imperials or ISB stuff. Like they could have been playing the Imperial March, but they weren't because it's
Right.
not that kind of show, you
Yeah.
know? Um, yeah. So to have it, you know, and you know, this is technically a nitpick because it's in the credits, you know, and it's not even like right at the front. It's not like
Yeah.
Andor ends and then it cuts to the Rebel theme. It's like,
Yeah.
no, it's a little later. But,
Yeah.
you know, just the fact that it is there, it's like
I
that is a little
I
strange.
could see how that's a nitpick, but at the same time, I totally agree with you. And it's just like the conscious decision to put this in it again, and we've talked about this multiple times. It seems like there's a misunderstanding between the writing and the concept of the show, you
Hmm.
know, because the fact that season one was so solid, so tight, and in this season, it just all the real weaknesses of the season is when it deviates from the Andor formula, you
Yeah.
know? And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so yeah, it might be a nitpick, but it's just another thing to throw onto the pile, you know?
Yeah.
That again, I wholeheartedly believe Tony Gilroy was not involved in this at all.
Yeah.
He probably bullet pointed it, you know? But yeah. And this makes me nervous because his brother, Dan Gilroy, I think his name is,
Hmm.
isn't he the one writing the new Miami Vice movie?
Oh yeah, we
And
just
we
talked
know
about
how I
that.
feel about that movie. So now I'm nervous. He is working with other people though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, the show in and of itself is great. You know, still one of the best shows I've ever watched. Uh um I think the biggest disappointment was that uh season two, not that it couldn't live up to season one, but it completely went almost in a different direction. And I think
Yeah.
that's where we kind of lost it. But like the good things about this season, I loved. It's really solid, you know.
Hmm.
Um, there were really good, strong moments and characters and writing and acting. Uh, it was just there's a little too many missteps for my liking. Um, And also, I think maybe it's for our own well good. Or yeah, because season one was it was intense, man, you know, and like there was a lot of anxiety that came watching every episode, but usually I'd come out of it and be like, all right, keep the fight going, you know, because it is
Right.
so relevant to our world. And season two, there's a lot of, you know, relevance in season two to our world, but it started getting a little more Star Wars and less Andor for me.
Yeah.
So um so after I watched the finale, I was just on YouTube looking up Andor and I saw Patton Oswalt was on Jimmy Kimmel when Diego Luna was hosting.
Oh, nice.
And Patton Oswalt was saying 'cause I'm trying to remember what the quote was. He was like uh you know, Andor's great. He's like, but the writing is amazing. The CGI is great. The music is incredible. All of it's great. He's like, but the worst thing about watching Andor is when you turn it off and turn on the news and you say, "Oh, this is just a shitty version of Andor with shitty actors and no special effects." And I
It's
was like,
true.
"Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's essentially it." I was like, "Oh man, yeah."
yeah.
So, um, let me see. Let me try and reel it in and remember the things I did really like about this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Um, I I did like the Luthen stuff. Of at least our core characters still warning him, even though I really dug that. You know, there's a lot of complicated feelings that in that
Hmm.
and but to still give him the respect. You know, even Vel says is like, I'll toast to him this time, you know?
Yeah.
So, which that's another thing. We really don't know where that rift comes from Vale's side, because everything that happened with Cinta, like Luthen was against that. Like that whole thing, like that happened because of Cinta and Vale. But we never really get into the aftermath of Cinta's death,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So
No, you're
so
right.
that's one of those little nitpicks. So it kind of leaves us with this bitter taste of like, oh, she's mad because Cinta died on Luthen's watch. It's like, well, but that can't be it at all because
Yeah.
he didn't want Cinta to be there.
I
So
I think if anything, it like it could be that, again, we
Mhm.
don't really know for sure, but my read on that was like, well, they were separated for so much of their time
Right.
that, once they were finally together, and could be together, and even plans to like continue to work together, be together
Yeah.
after this, then she died, so I can see it more on that side. It's like we
Yeah.
wasted so much time not being together because Luthen didn't like it.
Right. Yeah.
um, yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, again, like either read could be valid. What is there is the complicated feelings. He was a
Hmm.
man who had the vision, who tasked people to help build that vision,
Hmm.
and there's so much blood on his hands.
Yeah.
So many things went wrong. So many things didn't have to be the way they were.
Yeah.
He didn't have to be the way he was, but he was, you know, yeah, just like any true revolutionary or political figure or anybody who's trying to enact change, like it's the best thing that the show has done is continue the through line that these are real complicated people,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Even the small moment of, Vel and Mon, talking to each other, Mon says, like Luthen's dead, and I need your read on Cassian. And Vel's like, you want me to spy on him? It's like,
Hmm.
no, I want you to convince me that he's right.
Right.
Like
Right.
stop being the spy, like be a person,
Hmm.
you know. Um like
Yeah.
even that, like small moment, but again, like that's where Andor has excelled in most of its tenure. It's like in those small character moments.
Right. Right. Yeah. So yeah, that was just another little nitpick to the pile. But so yeah, I like that. I like the toast. I like all the talk about the people they've lost. Um, I love even that, like just that whole sequence with Vale and Andor like was so good, and she's even saying like you need to reconnect with Bix, you know?
Hmm.
And I'm glad they brought that up, And yeah, it was all those moments, all those people moments that really sold it. The plot, I could care less of this episode, but it was the people and the character moments.
Yeah.
And then I still liked Clea, coming. She made it to Yavin, and now she gets to see like the rebellion, firsthand, like in person. And I like where they leave her, she just a faint little smile as she sees everyone prepping, you
Hmm.
know. So um I loved Partagast. He had the brilliant, the perfect way
Ooh.
to leave. He takes himself
Yeah.
out. And I love how we have that montage of Nemec's speech, and then we see Partagast, and you don't really realize it at first until it kind of stays, but I'm like, wait, is he listening to the speech? And sure enough, he is. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
I thought that was cool.
So, but yeah, and then even how the other guy he even tells the stormtroopers to stop,
Yeah.
he just lets it sit for a moment, like, oh,
Yeah. Oh man. That's what happens.
yeah, yeah. And I like how just simple it was. It was a mistake. It's just a screw up,
Hmm.
and like, or not even, it's just out of his control. The rebels were better than the people they sent.
Hmm.
I love how the little rat guy gets killed. K2SO is just holding him up like a shield. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, I was kind of hoping for a shootout, but I'm like, okay, that too, like K2 like kind of stole the thunder a little bit. I'm like, I'm glad he was
Hmm.
there. I'm glad he shows up to save the day, but we didn't get like a shootout or anything. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But what I would have done is I would have had him trapped in there, and I would have had K2 like fly the ship up to that level. Because the whole time I'm thinking like, why don't they just shoot out the wall? Granted, they don't have comms, so it would have been weird. But like I
Yeah.
wanted K2 to just blow up the wall and then like they have to jump leap of faith into the ship.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, also, I don't think that ship has guns.
Does it? Wow. Wow.
No. Yeah, I don't think the U-Wings have guns. It's
I,
truly
uh,
like a transport
I
ship.
wonder what happened to Luthen's ship.
It's confiscated. It was
Crap.
in it was in the back of the shop.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, man, that's why we never saw it in, that's not the hero ship,
I
it
would have
should
loved
be.
if it would have like blown up like when Luthen like takes himself. Well, you don't realize that he's stabbing himself,
Yeah.
in that episode. But yeah, like if it would have blown up, like oh, that would have been
Hmm.
cool.
Or like once like all the people are there trying to like parse out what the code is, then it just
Yeah.
blows up in the back because it's on a timer, or
Right? Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you could have still done it in a way where like the switchboard survives a part of it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that was the good stuff. You know?
Yeah. I will say I did like Andor's like final walk through the
Yeah.
complex. It mirrors his like walk through the junkyard in like
Hmm.
the beginning of the end of the first episode
Hmm.
of season one, and how obviously within the timeline of the show, like 5 years, like that's a long time.
Hmm.
But yeah, just that like 5 year difference of like Andor head down, kind of just on the run, trying to stay out of sight, trying to keep it together. And this time he's confident, still a little like twitchy, but he's confident,
Hmm.
walking straight forward, this just looking around, kind of also like Clea, like seeing
Yeah.
everything that's been built, seeing everything that's going on, it's like, all right, it's time to lock in. I'm like that. I don't know. It's small, but I enjoyed that.
Hmm. Yeah. No, it was good. It was good montage. It was good music at the end.
Hmm.
But that's kind of the moment where like I turned because like even I have all these complaints about it and stuff. Like I was enjoying it. I was enjoying the whole episode as I watched it, but it wasn't until that walk where I'm like, oh, oh crap.
Like this
This
is
is how
it.
we're ending it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
oh, okay. I thought this was all going somewhere, and it's like it is. It's going to Rogue One.
yeah.
So it's just weird because like we have so many prequels in media, a
Hmm.
lot of them are bad. There's some really good ones though, but it's just like it's just so weird how it's almost like we couldn't tell a prequel story without Rogue One being the ending. It's just like, oh, I was expecting for like a culmination, like this story still ends, like for all intents and purposes, this show doesn't stand on its own apart from the movie. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. I want to talk to someone who hasn't watched Rogue One. Because I wonder
Mm.
what their thoughts on this is. Like,
Yeah.
okay, fight the good fight. I guess hope is still people. Like, I don't know. It's
Yeah. Yeah. Hope is still out there,
yeah.
like
If
there's a big ominous death weapon that's out there, but we
yeah.
can we can fight it. We're gonna keep on fighting. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think that's the main thing too. There were so many like almost everything that came up in this arc, these 3 episodes or whatever, uh there was no resolution to any of it. So it feels like a weird ending,
yeah,
you know? So, yeah. And also, I mean, there's also like the I don't know, the meta approach, if you want to think of it that way. I'm like, it's kind of like when you watch Star Trek and
hmm
Enterprise is in danger. It's like, I know they're not all going to die. I know the ship's
oh
not going to blow up. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So the challenge of the writers is like, okay, well, how do we still make this intense and intriguing, you know? How do I make
Hmm.
it in a way where people aren't going to say they're going to get out of it, and instead they're going to say, how are they going to get out of this?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's like that mentality. So much of this episode is questioning Luthen. So much of it is questioning the loyalty of Andor, our
Hmm.
quote unquote protagonist. And I'm just like checking my watch. I'm like, I kind of feel like we're just wasting time. Like we're just going through the motions, you know, and that's not what if that happened earlier in the season, okay, fine, I get the story. But
Yeah,
for your last
yeah.
episode, I'm just like, all right, okay, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So, example being the not shootout we had. I'm thinking like, okay, how are they going to get out of this? I know Andor and Melchi make it out alive, so I'm not
Yeah.
worried about that. But I don't know how they're going to get out of it. And then K2 walks up. I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure it's going to be K2. You know, so I was still on the edge of my seat because I didn't know how they were
Yeah.
going to do it. But
Yeah.
now it's just like, not once I'm like, oh no, what are they gonna believe Andor? I don't know, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was my thing. Like there was no suspense. You
Yeah,
know, you're telling me that, everybody is distrusting of Andor just, because of Luthen, like whatever he
yeah,
had to say, blah blah blah. But that's it. Diego
yeah,
Luna in that scene is really the only one who's like giving it his all,
yeah,
it as the character, and everybody else is just kind of like, whatever. Like
yeah,
I don't, and it's like yeah, it's such a strange thing. And for me too, it's like it's it's we'll get to it in Rogue One, but this kind of also carries this thing that I don't like that we've been presented, is that the rebellion, like, okay, yes, obviously, like in A New Hope, like going to attack the Death Star, like that's it. Like it's either this or nothing. We
yeah,
either win this or we're all dead.
yeah.
And I love that. I love those stakes. I've seen, like, with Andor and Rogue One, I've seen nothing that has shown me that the rebellion was like uh at like its full fighting force. You know?
Sure. Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
what does that look like?
Yeah.
Because we have this council who apparently isn't the full council. We have this whole council who are, distrusting of any little bit of information
Hmm.
about the enemy. And have to go around in circles, to get
Yeah.
something approved. We're grounding Andor, we're doing all this stuff. Um, Spoilers for Rogue One. But this was a bit that I remember, is that like there's a bit like towards like the end of Act Two in Rogue One where that same council is just like, that's it. It's the end of the rebellion. We're done. We're gonna disband. It's like, what do you mean you're gonna disband? Like
Yeah.
what why are we talking about that?
Yeah.
Like, I hear there's a giant super weapon. In the movie they use it, not to the degree they use it in New Hope, but they use it, and that's it. Now all of a sudden everybody's like, oh no, like this too intense,
Yeah.
and I'm like, no, like the like it's like, I don't know, it's such a strange, thing to still have, because again we also don't know when the rebellion proper is established, you know.
Yeah, and I think more importantly, we don't know how it's established. And
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like if I understood, I don't have to understand every single council member's motivations and
yeah,
backstory, but
yeah,
like who the hell is Bail Organa? Why is he running this thing? Why is he calling the shots?
yeah,
He stayed on Coruscant, you know? Like if Mon had been in that position, like okay, and we followed her story, we've seen her grow into this role she's in now, that
hmm,
would have made sense, you know?
yeah,
And then all these other people, of course, you have to have the detractors that you don't like, and you're like, okay, yeah, just for the sake of the scene, we and the argument, we have to have these other side characters who are against, Cassian in this moment.
sure,
But still, we don't understand where they're coming from,
yeah,
So it's just like where in the opposite of that, Saul, like we know Saul, we've seen him in this show, We
Yeah.
remember him, depending if you've seen it or not. We may or may not remember him from Rogue One. We may or
Hmm.
may not remember him from every other appearance in Star Wars he's made.
Hmm.
That's perfect because when he's on screen, you know you're in trouble when you're dealing with him.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I love that was such a strong scene where it's just his hologram, and it's
Hmm.
like, oh crap, what's he getting up to now?
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
so the fact that we don't have any experience with these other side characters, we don't know how Bell ended up like quote unquote running this council, at least a small version of it. It's just kind of like, who are you? What are you doing here?
Yeah.
And it's fine if Cassian feels that way or the characters feel that way. It's bad if the audience feels that way,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Also, I'll flat out say it. I don't think Forrest Whitaker being the only person nominated for what even was it? Like best like guest star or something?
Something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm like from this show, the
Yeah.
show that's given us like characters like Nemec who are in like
Yeah.
3 episodes and yet they last. They have a lasting star power. Like
Yeah.
they have something. Yeah, just there's so many other characters that I'm like could have nominated them. You
Yeah.
know, even in this, if you want to give it for Mon's speech, like that would have been great.
Yeah.
No, you gave it to Forrest Whitaker, who's
Yeah.
barely in this season and doesn't really do anything this
Yeah.
season.
I
Like that's crazy work. I don't. Yeah.
yeah, I'm so torn, man. I'm just that now I'm even more broken up over Cyril's death because I'm like what could we have done with his character? You know?
Yeah.
Like in these last 3 episodes. We still could have killed him if we wanted, but like I don't know, just yeah.
Like honestly, the way he went out, I feel like is as good as it could have been. Seeing just like where the rest of the show went.
Yeah.
Which isn't to say that the show is terrible and it went to pot,
Right. Right.
but just like from that writing standpoint, like it is like a big step down from season one. And so to have kind of like I feel like we got the speed run of his character arc in
Hmm.
those final moments, in that battle. He's
Yeah.
all the Gormans are dying. He knows that this is partially his fault, but he's just so disillusioned, can't figure out what to do. And then the second he sees Cassie and he's like, you ruined everything. You did this. The reason
Hmm.
we're all here is because of you. It's like you're projecting, dude. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I feel like that would have been the end.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have done a like Darth Maul Obi-Wan like battle, like spanning like seasons and series, between Cyril and Cassian. But in the end, it's like that's not real. That's the stuff of those mythic figures, those knights and the evil
Yeah.
counterparts. Like that's not
No, that that
real
that fight
people.
between them was perfect because Andor never finds out who that guy was.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And then he
Yeah.
gets shot by someone Andor does like barely knows, you
Hmm.
know?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I so now this begs the question. What was Tony Gilroy's original plan for Sarge? Because if he was going to work with Luthen,
Mm.
where would he have gone? Oh, I would have loved to see him team up with Clea to like quote unquote rescue Luthen, and then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we don't, yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
He's with K2 and K2 goes in to clear the way and then Sarge comes in and does this,
right?
come on. Like, we haven't got time.
Hmm. I'm thinking now that wouldn't make any sense. I was thinking
Okay.
they can't get in, right? They can't get in, so uh they get trapped in the thing. There's a lot more people because if you're going after whoever's sending these signals,
Yeah.
if you're going after Clea, why are you going to send 5 guys? They're like, oh, it's just Clea. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
this is Axis's like number one, right? They should have had a whole
Yeah.
battalion. So they're trapped up there in the apartment, right?
Hmm.
K2's fight has to fight his way up, reverse the raid, to get to Andor. Well, then they're all up there, right? Well, then the whole time, like they're building something in the hallway. Like, what the hell is that? And it's like one of those badass big guns,
Oh,
that we
yeah,
see.
yeah.
Well, then Sarge in the meantime, he takes the ship and he's able to like do like Morse code or whatever to tell them to get back, and he flies straight into the wall. So it breaks. So then like he kind of puts it on autopilot and gets K2 to go in. So he's helping them, right? Come in. Clea almost falls, so he grabs her and like one arm like flings her up. Or so, oh no, no, she's hanging off the edge,
Uh-huh.
and the
Uh-huh.
ship's like stuck. So he Chris Evans it from Winter Soldier. Was it Winter Soldier?
No,
No,
Civil
Civil War,
War.
where he grabs like the rail and the helicopter. He's like, ah. So like Sarge uses his body as a bridge while he's getting shot by the lasers. And Clea is able to like crawl over him just real quick. Thank you. And he's like, make it worth it. Yeah, and he goes out like a champ.
Wow. Wow. And it's so apparent that the budget for this episode is $1 billion
Yep,
just for
yep.
the CG alone.
I mean, if we're
Uh
gonna make it feel like Star Wars, let's make it a Star Wars episode. If we're
Uh-huh.
distancing from Andor, making it Star Wars, we're going Star Wars.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
We're putting the wars back in stars. Wars.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah. That's what I would have done. That's yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Alex Fern, I hope we see more of you. Um, yeah, that would have been rad.
Yeah.
Um, hmm. So, as we've mentioned before, like the closest comparison we have to season two of Andor was season two of Arcane. I kind of
Hmm.
wish they would have went a more Arcane route because Arcane felt like they just they kind of had just like threw everything in, even if
Hmm.
like it like wasn't necessarily earned yet. Like things were happening so fast, and
Yeah,
then the
yeah.
way we could talked about Andor season two, it's like they still wanted to tell X amount of story, so they did, but they cut out a lot of stuff that ended up, I feel like, being really important. So it felt like there's a lot of holes in the story. I
Yeah.
would have, I wish they kind of wish they went the Arcane route and they had just rushed a lot of it instead of leaving us with all these holes and like, oh,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
don't
No,
know.
me too.
So, and honestly, even, I still don't really understand why we had to do the time jumps. Like,
I really don't either.
yeah, like I understand there needs to be time from the Gorman massacre to now because they have to develop and they have to mine and stuff. So I do understand why there's time jumps, but like the fact of like there's so many, like I don't know why we had to do every year like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. In that case, we probably would have missed the wedding storyline, and that I think was some of the strongest stuff of the season.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So as far as like characters potentially showing up again, is this where we're going to talk about potential
Sure.
like
So
Tony Gilroy's idea?
Tony Gilroy kind of had the idea. I don't know how serious he was or not, but he had the idea of doing a show of Vale and Clea hunting down um like Empire sympathizers essentially.
Yeah.
So and they would end up using Daedra as like a Hannibal Lecter kind of figure.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So also with I always assumed those three were going to survive because
Mm,
I heard Tony Gilroy talked about it.
yeah.
But then I also heard Dave Filoni talk about Luthen, and Luthen's dead. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean that would be cool. I think especially after I don't know what the time frame is from Rogue One to Return of the Jedi.
Mm,
I think it's a couple years, right?
I think it I think it's 3 years.
I'll look it up. So, but
Yeah.
basically, Daedra's going to be in prison for a
For a
while.
while. Yeah.
Let me see. Time between Rogue One and Return of the Jedi. 4 years, approximately 4 years.
Okay. Yeah, because I think like there's like a year between, at least a year between Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Oh, well, this says it's 3 years after Empire's 3 years after New Hope. And Return
Oh.
is roughly 1 year after Empire Strikes Back. It's the internet though, so who knows?
Mm.
Um,
Well, I mean, but also like that's Star Wars, like there's so much of it that is being like, finagled and like rewritten, especially back in
right.
those days,
Yeah, yeah.
um, with the original trilogy. So,
Hmm.
yeah, it's kind of a toss up.
That would be cool. I would like to see one of the things I wish we kind of got more from Daedra was I want to see how she kind of uh like how does she justify the stuff that the Empire's doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she's such like she seems like such like a cold, calculating, logical person. It's so hard to I want to see her perspective. Like, why did she stick with them for so long?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things too. I mean, it is kind of poetic justice how like she doesn't betray them. That's not why she goes down. It's like
Hmm.
no, she did her job and she was almost too good at it.
Hmm.
Uh, which is the thing too. Like, which is so weird that she's arrested before Axis is killed. Like that whole timing was weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know, like I that would be cool to see her 4 years later after 4 years of hard labor,
Hmm.
of where her mindset is after that. She's like, yeah, I want to help you, but she's still bad, for sure. So like I don't know.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's fascinating too because, uh Denise Goff, who plays Dedra, um, like she heard that, and I think I think we talked about it. Like she says that like she doesn't see Dedra doing that. She doesn't see Dedra like turning,
mhm.
on the Empire.
Yeah.
You like even at the end, like I do think, 4 years doing hard prison labor like that could change a person.
Yeah.
But again, like I think that is also part of the mindset.
Hmm.
It's why the Gilroys have said that like Cyril wouldn't have turned, he wouldn't have become a rebel, you
Right.
know, because he believed too much in the Empire.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like I feel like it would be that kind of a thing too. Like that would be like part of the struggle for Dedra if we ever saw her again.
Yeah.
Like this is like these are the people that did this to you. The rebels
Yeah.
didn't do this. The
Yeah.
Empire did, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it would be cool to see that part of the struggle, and having
Right.
to come to terms with that, and like knowing all the things that you've done in service to the people who then, threw you in prison.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, could be cool.
Yeah. I still want to see a story where we actually see someone like kind of wake up, and start realizing what's happening.
Yeah,
You
yeah. The
know?
fact again, like the fact that we have so many characters just in Andor alone who have already turned.
Hmm.
Like this would have been the perfect opportunity to have somebody like Dedro or Cyril
Yeah.
fully turn,
Yeah.
and then end up becoming, a hero of the rebellion. Like how crazy would that be? Like if you had, you know, and I'm gonna be on my bullshit because I still think this show would have been just as good, if not better, if we had aliens as part of the main cast,
Mm.
not just in the background. But how crazy wouldn't it have been if you had fucking Admiral Akbar,
Hmm.
was an Imperial, and you're like, what?
Dude, right? He
But
starts off ISB, like that would be
he's
crazy.
the guy, like that's crazy. Like, what's
Yeah.
his story gonna be like, and I know,
Yeah.
Star Wars fans who listen to it, yes, I know the Mon Calamari were technically enslaved by the Imperials and then they turned and blah blah blah.
Mm,
But anyway, regardless, like that's what I'm looking for. We're looking for the character who fully believes what the Empire's doing and then becomes disillusioned and then turns rebel.
yeah.
You know, then becomes hero of the day or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll get it. Andor 2.
yeah,
That's
2.0
that's what I'll call it. Andor 2, even though
and/or
he's
2.
nowhere in it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, you know what? There's a lot of shows out there trying to emulate what Andor did, and I hope they do it um, properly or accordingly. You know, I think I really hope that they take a long, hard look at both these seasons and see like what made this so successful.
Yeah.
You know, what made it work. And you know, I know they're that's their pitch for a new Star Trek show. Which I'm like, okay,
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and so that's the one I forgot what it was. They're calling it United, maybe,
Oh,
but
do they have a name for it already?
I don't know. But
Oh,
basically, they Scott Bakula has shown interest in coming back as Captain Archer or as
Admiral Archer.
Admiral Archer, and
Hmm.
maybe even President Archer. So that's what they're discussing. They're like, let's do like a Andor-esque Star Trek story. I'm like, okay, but what's Andor-esque? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Not just
Yeah.
dark and gritty, like very politically relevant. Like, what is it? You know, how does that fit into the Star Trek timeline? You know,
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
and a lot of people are saying it, you know, and they're like, why are we saying let's do an Andor-esque Star Trek show? Why don't we just do a DS9-esque Star Trek show? I was like, yeah, sure, I get it. You know, Deep Space Nine touched on a lot of like the politics and all that stuff, a
Yeah,
lot of world relevant topics. Uh, but I think Andor just really raised that bar, you know, and brought some prestige television to Star Wars.
for sure.
Um,
I mean, it's kind of the thing where it's like you have shows like DS9 that then go on to inspire uh the Battlestar Galactica reboot
right,
that then go on to kind of fuel and do sort of like well, I mean, they go on and fuel something like The Expanse.
right,
And I don't know that like The Expanse has any bearing on Andor whatsoever, other than the fact that it is a grounded human story set in this fantastical sci-fi world.
right.
But all of that stuff kind of feeds into each other, and
Hmm.
it's like, yeah, it kind of feels like a no-brainer to do something like a DS9
Yeah.
in Star Trek again. But it's just that Andor is the one that is, it's the hot new girl on the scene, and
Yeah.
it's there and it's the one that's on everybody's mind. It's blowing up film Twitter because film Twitter
Yeah.
is like, Star Wars is good again. Wow. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like, yeah, obviously like
Yeah.
that's the route they're going. But yeah, like that's an interesting thing to say, like an Andor-esque, when it's like, yeah, like what exactly is it are you going to pull? What lessons are you going to take from Andor?
Hmm.
Are you just going to do the structure, every 3 episodes and then a big thing happens? Like that's never been Star Trek's thing. Like, you
No, I mean,
know,
I think it's just definitely the gritty realism and relevance that everyone is kind of looking at, you know.
yeah.
Oh, I even I don't know why she just popped in my head, but like the sister had a little cameo in his dreams. Casa. I'm like,
Yeah.
why even bring that back? Why? Like, you know,
Yeah.
I
Well,
it was a
yeah.
nice moment, but I don't know.
Yeah, you know, so, I'll be upfront. The night that I saw it, I didn't like it.
Hmm.
Um, which is why I didn't text you, like,
Hmm.
damn, hell of a series,
Yeah, yeah,
or hell of an episode. Like, I didn't text you that because I didn't feel that. I was like, yeah, okay.
yeah.
Sitting with it more, I found more things to enjoy and kind of like taking it as it is and taking it, as the end of the whole thing. It's like, okay, yes, it is like that aspect, is a lost plot thread,
Right.
we're never going to get a resolution to that. Um, for me, it is something that is like, even after all this time, she's still on Cassian's mind. And You know,
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said too about like him thinking about his sister, him watering his plants, you know, in his little apartment, you know, him, we completely glossed over this, him not knowing that he has a child out there with
I
Bix.
was gonna say that to the end for the end, but yeah, yeah,
Like it's all these things that get unresolved, you know, all these things that, you know,
sure.
Cassian's never gonna know about now.
Yeah.
Um, and like yeah, there's a bittersweetness to that. And I definitely think there was a much better way to convey all of that. I think there was a much better way to execute it.
Yeah.
As it stands right now, it's like I like the idea of it, you know, and
Right.
I like that it's included, you know, because I think I don't know, maybe we would have been upset that they didn't include it, you know. Um, but I don't
Mm.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard because again, like
Yeah.
that was such a big part of season one, and
At least the
you know,
beginning, yeah.
yeah, at least the beginning, and now is just brought up as like a snippet, you know, like you
Yeah.
said. So it's like, yeah, it does suck. Um, but for yeah, I am glad that it's there in whatever form that it's there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, solid series. It's I'm bummed that it's over now. You
Yeah,
know? So it's like,
yeah,
well, okay.
yeah. I'm kind of yeah, and, and you know, like this was the thing that I felt like brought us back into Star Wars, you
Yeah.
know, in kind of
Yeah.
a big way. And now that it's over, I'm like, well, I kind of there's kind of nothing else for me to like.
I'm back out.
Yeah, I'm kind of
Yeah.
out. Like, I do want to watch Skeleton Crew because Skeleton Crew looked fun.
Hmm.
Um,
I think what I did find this thing online where it's like the proper Andor viewing order. And
mm,
it's pretty much just obvious. But there are some moments in season two where you go watch Rebels. There's like two or three Rebels episodes that
mm,
have to deal with either Mon or other characters here. I didn't read too much because I don't want to be spoiled, so I might go
right.
watch those later. Um, but yeah, you know, a lot of people love the show. I understand why. I totally get it. It's the show that brought me back into Star Wars, but its ending is also what is why I'm also leaving Star Wars again, you know?
Yeah,
So, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It's much different than like the Acolyte, which just ended and left everything unresolved. And now
mm,
is like, are they going to erase it from canon? Because like there's some kind of canon shattering things that brings up. And I'm
mm,
like, okay, what does this mean for the further Star Wars universe? And we can't just leave that open ended, you
yeah,
know? So I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, oh, that's AU or whatever.
yeah,
So, which we haven't really seen that in Star Wars since Disney like started rewriting, you know, all the canon and no, this is what's real and this isn't.
yeah.
So,
Although technically, like Visions is something of like an AU, but not in the way
oh, that's
that's like
true.
a, not in
Yeah.
a way that's like a, you know, like a what if situation or
Yeah.
Elseworlds. It's like, no, this is
That
just straight
that
up,
might be
hey,
a
go
perfect
crazy.
way to like to address the acolyte, you know,
Yeah,
do it like a
yeah,
little visions, go follow some of the characters through visions.
that'd be
But
fun.
yeah, yep. However, we're not done with Andor yet
No, we're not.
because next week we're watching the true series finale of Andor. We're watching Rogue One.
Hmm.
Now I haven't seen Rogue One since it came out. I saw it in theaters, and then I think I saw it like when it came out.
Yeah, because I remember watching it with you all, you mom and dad.
Yeah, I was checking. I don't even know if I own it. I was like, I might. I don't know. I have to look. Um, but yeah, so we're gonna check that out. I am nervous, just like anything, because like the prequel is so good. I'm like, okay, let's see how it actually started. You know, Diego
Yeah.
Luna's not gonna look the same. You know, Jyn Erso's gonna show up. I'm like, get out of here. This is Andor's story. Where's Diego Luna?
Yeah,
We don't want you here.
yeah.
So, yeah, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna come up with all my little fan theories of what's gonna happen to all the characters. You know, like okay, let's see who actually survives, who doesn't.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I think we know who survives.
Well, no, but like who survives Andor and then we never see again? Like, okay, what are their fates?
Oh,
You
okay.
know,
Yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying.
like is this gonna be a thing like is Willem is he part of the force that goes to Scarif? You know,
Mm,
does he die on the planet as well? You know, like
yeah.
I'm gonna have to see the specifics. Like, why the hell wouldn't Vel be there? You know,
Yeah.
and that's what Tony Gilroy has said. He said like the one character he really wishes was in Rogue One was Vel. I
Mm,
was like, yeah, yeah. So I'm like, okay, why is she there, or why wouldn't she be there? Hmm.
yeah.
So. Yeah. Also, it is kind of what you were saying, what Tony Gilroy said. No, the show literally ends right where Rogue One's starting it, and Cassian's gonna go meet
Uh-huh.
the. I'm like, okay. I mean that's not a big deal. You know, like it could have like you didn't have to be literal about it, Tony Gilroy. You know,
Yeah.
especially because they kept talking about this guy. I'm like, who the hell are you talking about? And then halfway
Yeah.
through, I'm like, oh wait, I'm pretty sure that's the guy from Rogue One.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. I a part of me wishes I did watch Rogue One before starting Andor,
Mm,
but now I'm really excited that I didn't because I'm really excited to see what I recognize from Andor in Rogue One.
mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, I either live to regret it or not. Yeah.
Well, I guess if we're counting Rogue One as like the series finale, then yeah, we're not done. So join us next week, everyone, where we talk about the real series finale of Andor, Rogue One.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a hell of a time. Catch us on the socials, hashtag Lost Legacies. Send us messages, we'll find them. We're out there. So until next week, everybody, stay safe, take care, and as always,
Fight the
fight the
Empire.
Empire.